fine. After the relaxing of the curfew, everyone is allowed to now move out in a certain extent, and at the same time, I guess everyone is taking all the precautions to be safe. Last week, what we did was we discussed about several things after finishing the brands and business module. We started discussing on brand identity and the positioning. So we have already done brand identity part. We discussed now, and the brand positioning part also. We started into a certain extent, and we stopped. So because of that, so I thought of like giving some kind of a small brief on brand positioning again, which is already that you have been already taken through, and come to the point that where we stopped last week. So if you look at positioning, this is a very it's kind of a lifeblood of marketing, because when you are, if you have studied marketing before, maybe in a very junior level, maybe a PCMO, SLIMO, CIMO, anywhere, like whatever you learn about marketing, positioning is something which always comes, right? It is all about, in the simplest way of explanation, the positioning is, it's all about creating some kind of a unique perception in consumers' mind about our brands, right? If you have a brand, it's all about creating a unique uh, perception in consumers' mind, is what called positioning, right? So just because we wanted to have some kind of a thought-provoking ways of to see how the positioning being created, I took you through several different ways that we can uh, uh, create our positioning, right? So as I told you, even last week I told you, these are just examples that I have given this the so-called basis, right, for you to understand and for you to have some kind of a guideline. But there's no basis, like when if you want to create any kind of positioning for your brand, you don't have to stick to any of those, right? Only thing is, this is some kind of a thought-provoking thing for you to think, okay, like this also I can create a positioning. I want you to understand. Apart from that, there's no hard and fast rules about positioning, but it's all about, it has to be very distinctive, right? So your positioning can't be everywhere. It has to be very focused, and it has to be very clearly differentiated from the rest of the brands and your own other brands as well. So that is all about. So here we discuss about few way of looking at it when you create positioning. The few way of looking at it. The first thing that we discussed was a benefit. You can look at it in a benefit. If your product is giving a unique benefit to your consumers, yes, you can create that your positioning. If you are unique in that way, right? Like clear shampoos, right? Anti-dandruff, like Sensodyne toothpaste, which is co-sensitivity. These are like clear benefit. Like those are not average products, right? These are not the products which is for masses, for everyone to use. These people who buy these products, they are buying it for a very specific reason, benefit. And products like this, if you have a very unique or different ingredient that you can have a claim about it, if you can have a claim about it, you have okay, this particular ingredient which is good for you, or which is a particular ingredient which gives you these benefits, yes, you can create positioning based on that as well, right? Now I have seen like with this COVID situation also, I have seen several brands are now saying alcohol. They have sanitizers, and they have so many germ killing products, and they have this particular percentage of alcohol, right? So it is also kind of a unique ingredient, but you can't call it as a positioning at this point, because everyone is having alcohol, some kind of alcohol percentage in their sanitizers, right? Which means it's a kind of a common thing now, right? So if you have a certain ingredient, everyone is talking about that ingredient, which is alcohol, which is a germ fighter, germ killer. But things like that can't be your positioning at a moment like this, because everyone is having that. There's no difference between A sanitizer to B sanitizer, right? So just because you have something in it, it can't always be your positioning. Now here the example what I have given is a different story. So when Newdale came up with probiotic for the first time, yes, they had a competitive advantage that where other brands did not have. So they started harping on that. And then your application, how you use it. If you have any unique way of doing it, yes, it can be your positioning too, right? Like Dulux does, right? Just applying for a one time. Then your competitors, right? Your competitors. This is a very common example, that very old example as well, because a very famous example. I told you the story about AVs and Hertz, how AVs position themselves as a number two car brand, rent-a-car company, where Hertz was the number one. Right, this is an old example, but it is a very nice way of positioning. While everyone wants to be the number one, this particular brand wanted to be said clearly they are number two, and that's their positioning. And user profile positioning, like brands like Red Bull, what they does is it's a user based profile, right? So Red Bull doesn't say anything to you. What they always tell you about is their profile, the users. They use their users as their positioning, right? You can be Red Bull's user, right? If you are a right user in the right segment, they use you as your positioning itself, right? So that's why you see all these adventure. That's area that Red Bull plays in. All the adventures that you see, you can see these sportsmen or riders, maybe skydivers, hikers, and all these guys are drinking Red Bull, right? That's their positioning. If you are an adventure lover, if you do things that others can't do, most of the people in the world can't do, yes, you are an adventure lover, and you are our users, and Red Bull want you to see them as Red Bull users. So that is a positioning of Red Bull. And this is another way of position, which is using your price. You can position yourself using your price. As I told you, yes, you can always do this. If you have a price advantage, if you can offer a unique price, it can be lowest price or maybe the highest price, right? So in a market, a different market, highest price can also be a positioning, right? So here in a country like Sri Lanka, this is the most common example, which is Cargill's Wood City. They are saying the lowest price. This is they have positioned themselves as the lowest price supermarket in the country. Right? Another way of positioning, like I have told you the brands like D washing powder. Uh, Again, what they are doing is very similar thing, price-based positioning. It's trying to be the lowest in the market. Then sometimes if you are coming from a country where the country's reputation about certain thing is very high, you are coming from that country, yes, you can use that as your positioning, right? Like Tag Heuer using their positioning, being a Swiss watch, claiming themselves as a Swiss watch is their positioning. Again, they can use is like Dilma Tea is using the Ceylon tea endorsement, right? So that's their positioning. So Dilma Tea is worldwide. It's one of the biggest brands in the world when it's come to tea. They're using Dilma as a Ceylon tea as their positioning. So likewise, there are different brands using their country's endorsements. Like if you look at car brands, certain car brands are using their country of origin, which is coming from Germany. If it is a car coming from Germany, known to be the best cars, best engineering. The country is known for best engineering. They use it as their positioning, right? If it is a chocolate coming from somewhere, yes. If it is a chocolate coming from Belgium, known to be the premium chocolate. If it is chocolate coming from Switzerland, again known to be a very high quality chocolate. If you look at all these brands, you can see these brands have those endorsements of country of origin endorsements in these brands. You just take a chocolate like Lindt, maybe Nestle chocolate, right? So they always have this endorsement, maybe for Switzerland, maybe from Belgium, right? So they have this country of origin endorsement for those things. If you look at a country like Italy, right, they are known for their designs. Italians are very, they are craftsmen, right? They are very good designers. From their culture, you can see, like even in the history, they're good at designing. So that's why most of the designer brands are coming from Italy, right? All these designer brands, high-end designer brands, Giorgio Armani, Gucci, Chanel, right? So all these, look at these brands, those are coming from Italy. But then there are some modern brands like Louis Vuitton and all these things are coming from France. They also have to core the market for some extent. But best designer brands are like still by far it's Italian brands. Even if you look at the cars, the best designed cars are coming from Italy, right? Ferraris, Lamborghinis, right? Bugatti, right? These cars are Italian cars, best designs. So likewise, always you can use this country of origin as your positioning. Then sometimes it's the heritage. If your brand has a huge reputation or a heritage, yes, that can be a positioning too, right? So those are the different bases of positioning that we learn. As I always tell, these are not the only bases that you can have. This is open for your thinking, right? These are just some routes that you can take. Only some routes, not the only routes. Then we discuss about few different positionings of the some of the brands that we know, some of the popular brands in the world as well as Sri Lanka. So Dialog known for their innovation as a positioning, Mobitel as the nationalism. They are positioning the brand like Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy lifestyle, EGB, the best drink with food, a brand like Sparsilone, right? So it's all about the luxury and the indulgence of that brand. Then BMW, the driving pleasure. That's their positioning. BMW never talks about the design of the car, right? Look of the car. They never talk about. Have they ever talk about the price of the car? No, they never talk about. Do they ever talk about the fuel economy of the car? No, they don't, right? But there's only one thing they talk about: the driving pleasure and the performance of the car. So that is what BMW is all about: the performance of the car, the driving pleasure that you get when you drive a BMW, right? That's their positioning, and they don't deviate from that. Okay. Then, so we stopped here the other day, as I remember. So now let's have a look at the perceptual maps, or else we call it positioning maps, right? Again, a very simple theory, right? Perceptual maps, positioning maps, but this is a very important, very simple way of doing things, but again, very important in certain ways. For a brand, it is important for certain ways in certain points in the brand. So let's say you are in a process of launching a new brand, right? You are launching a new brand. So in that case, there's a one point that you can use perceptual maps to understand what's the market, what the situation, current situation of the market, and what are the positioning of your competitor brands. So you are about to launch a new brand, and before you are launching a new brand, you need to know how your competitors are currently um, uh, competing in the market, currently operating in the market. What's kind of a benefit they offers to the customers, and what are their perceptions. So that in that case, so one of the things that you can use is perceptual maps. Now that's the one point. The other point is still okay. You are an existing brand. You have your own positioning, and you claim to be the most fuel economical car, right? Let's say you are Toyota Aqua. Toyota Aqua known as the most fuel economical car, right? So that's their positioning, right? That's their positioning, right? Eco-friendly, most fuel economical car, Toyota Aqua. So here, if Toyota Aqua is their positioning is that which is created by Toyota, but Toyota wants to check whether people are actually thinking like that. Sometimes, right? Sometimes Toyota is communicating that message, their positioning, but though Toyota is communicating that message, the people are not getting the, say, people don't think that the most fuel economical car, right? People think something else. People think, okay, the other car, Toyota Prius is more fuel economical. Bro, in that case, there's a gap between the positioning that organization trying to create as well as how the consumers see the positioning as. In that case also, you can use perceptual maps or else positioning maps to check whether your positioning is actually being communicated to consumers, right? So those are the points that we use perceptual maps, right? Here the examples that I have given, so I will explain this, right? Over both these situations that you can use. Here what you do is you can see there are two axes here. The one is the x-axis that I have used is quality, y-axis is price, right? So you can always check two dimensions. So if you are a one brand, you can have several perceptual maps done. This is one example. Here the example that I have taken, okay, from the car industry. Uh, the two variables I have taken is price and the quality, right? So now you can check what is the perception, the positioning of each car brand compared to price and the quality, right? This is just an example, right? This is just an example. Now, if you look at quality, highest quality and the highest price, right? Simple math. If you look at this chart, you can say there's a point which is the highest price and the highest quality, right? When you go further to your right, it's the quality is getting higher. When you go further up, its price is higher. So you can say that what is further up and what is further right. So then you can see a brand which is Rolls-Royce, right? This is, guys, again example, right? This is maybe not the right exact thing, right? This is just an example. So price is high, highest price and the highest quality positioning is Rolls-Royce. Yes, compared to all these brands, if I ask this question from anyone, what is the most expensive car from all the brands here, you will say yes, Rolls-Royce. That's your perception. That is right. In that case, it is right to have Rolls-Royce on top of the high price quadrant. Then the quality wise also, the further right one is Rolls-Royce, right? Then some can argue, okay, Rolls-Royce can be high quality, then Mercedes-Benz also can be equally quality. Yes. So in that case, so here the example, now let's say normally we this is done to examine what you are perceiving. Now what you do is we throw these perceptual map at target consumers, target group එකකට මේක අපි දීලා we ask them to map according to you, what do you think? Then only, right, we'll see what is the then only we see what is the different thinking of people, right? Sometimes Mercedes-Benz can be the highest quality car here, but people think Rolls-Royce is quality is higher than Mercedes-Benz. That's why it is on the right, further right in the quality angle. So when consumers are mapping that, they can map it as like this, or they can map it in a different way, right? You can have different consumers will map different ways. Then how we do is we collate all these things and then further come into a decision. Okay, most of the people have think in this way, right? Then if you look at Mercedes-Benz, how people have mapped Mercedes-Benz again as a high price car. Mercedes-Benz very high price car, but compared to Rolls-Royce, the price is low. And again, people have mapped Mercedes-Benz as a high quality car, right? Again, compared to Rolls-Royce, low quality, right? So that's how it is. Now let's look at Toyota. If you look at Toyota, then people have mapped Toyota as a high quality car. Yes, it's a well-known factor. People know that Toyota is a very high quality car, right? But compared to Rolls-Royce and Mercedes-Benz, Toyota quality is low. Then price. Then people have mapped Toyota as a low price, high quality car. Price is high, price is low, but the quality is high, right? Then there's another brand, Suzuki, Maruti Suzuki. Then people have mapped the lowest quality car as well as the lowest price car. Lowest quality, lowest price, right? That can happen, right? That can happen. It can be like also there can be so many. If you put there are so many car brands available. If you put all the car brands here, you will see these car brands are sitting in different places, right? Some are overlapping, some are in the same segment, right? But you will hardly get a car brand which falls into the empty area. You can see high price, low quality, right? So if you are a car brand, if someone think you are high price car brand or any brand and low quality, nobody will buy that. So if you are looking at the existing brands and most of the people think it's a high price and low quality, it can't be an existing brand because the brand, the brands can survive there if people think it's high price and low quality, right? But anywhere else there can be brands, right? So here, as I told you, one of the reasons, one of the use of this is, okay, if you have created your positioning already, if you want to check it through your consumer target groups, whether they are getting the message as it is, yes, you can do exercise like that and see whether our message being communicated to our customers in the right way that we want to communicate. If you haven't, then you have a problem with your maybe your positioning, maybe your communication. You need to relook at your communication strategy. You need to relook at your positioning strategy, right? You need to find where the problem is, right? Maybe your positioning is right, but you don't know how to communicate. You don't know the right way of communicating it to consumers. Maybe you have done the communication right, but your positioning is not right, so people don't think it that way. Then you have to change at repositioning your brand. So that is your existing brand. So if you are a new brand which is not launched yet, you are still in the development stage, then again you can do something like that for your competitors and see where your competitors are playing, right? And where the gaps are, right? Where the gaps are, right? Whether we can establish our brand, whether we can position our brand in that gap, right? The places like that. Now you can see there can be a gap between Mercedes-Benz and Toyota, right? Mercedes-Benz and Toyota, there is a gap. It's an example, yes. Both are high quality car. One is high price, one is low price, right? Then there's a gap. High quality may be a medium price, which is somewhere between Mercedes-Benz and Toyota, right? Maybe above medium, right? There's a gap. So brand like Lexus, again a brand from Toyota, can fit in that gap, right? Lexus is competing with Mercedes-Benz and BMW, right? That's the high end of Toyota, right? So in that case, it is very close to the Toyota can have another brand. They know that, okay, we have a gap because our cars are high quality, low price car, but we need to have high price, high quality cars as well. So in that case, they have their own brand to sit very much close to Mercedes-Benz and BMW position, right? They are competing with those brands, right? That's where Lexus is playing right now, being high quality, just as Toyota, and the price also high, comparatively high, right? Very similar to prices of Mercedes and BMW, right? Somewhat low, right? So that's here. You can check about the price and the quality. Now the beauty of this is not only for price and quality. You can use so many variables. If you want to look at the modernity of the design of the car, what car has the most modern design? Yes, right? You can still use it. Like let's say we'll replace quality with the design. Stylish, more modern, more vintage looking, right? Low modern, no, very highly modern, right? The other axis you can say the maybe the instead of price we can use maybe the fuel economy of the car. Modern looking, right? Highly fuel economical, right? Maybe Toyota Prius. Right? Modern looking, the car is very modern looking, right? Highly fuel economical, right? Then you can have a car like Audi A5, right? Again, what? Highly modern looking, fuel economy is low, not like Prius. Prius fuel economy is high, but Audi A5 Prius economy is that not that good. So, but the modern looking is very much very modern looking. So likewise, you can always check. So in that case, when you normally do this, we'll have not only one perceptual map, we do the multiple perceptual map and we check it on multiple perceptual maps. How our brands work on multiple channels. So that's a one way of looking at this. Right, guys, any questions about perceptual maps before we are moving into a new one? Any questions? Nothing. Right. Okay, then I'm moving forward. Right. The other part is reposition. Right. Repositioning brands. So we have already discussed about positioning. We know what positioning is, right? Now it's all about repositioning, right? Now, what do you think, right? You can always use the text bar. Why brands reposition themselves? Repositioning means very simply, as in the slide, implementing a major change the target market's perception of the new product's key benefit and features. Implementing a major change of the target market's perception of the product's key benefits and features. Implementing a major change, right? Which means now you have already created a positioning of a brand. As an example, right? Let's say, right? Here, the already created positions, these are already created. Now, if any of these brands want to create, want to change that perception which is created in the consumer's mind, they can always do it. That exercise is called repositioning. If dialogue says now innovation, okay, dialogue think, okay, we'll not take the innovation route hereafter, will be the most price effective brand, telecommunication brand in Sri Lanka. So they will start talking about that. They will do so many activities to prove that they are the most price effective brand. EGB is best drink with food. EGB start thinking, okay, no, we don't want to be the best drink with food anymore. We want to be the most thirst quenching drink hereafter. Oh, EGB thinks, okay, we want to be the most the drink with gives you more energy, right? So which means they are changing their positioning. So EGB changing best drink with food from that's the positioning, from that to most thirst quenching drink, right? Just imagine a situation they are changing. Then in that case, their communication, their execution, everything will be changed. You will not see AGB with food after that, even in a television advertisement or anywhere you will not see. But you will see people are consuming AGB in the beach while they are like the when sun is very hot and the people are sweating and then drinking AGB. Even the execution will also be equally changed, right? So that is called repositioning, right? So you can say now tell me, type here why brands are going for repositioning. What's the reason? Right? The repositioning is not a simple task. It's not a easy task. It's not that you just see a dream in the night and come to go to work next day and say, okay, I should reposition my brands. No, you will not do like that. So again, you need to have a rationale behind your repositioning. So why brands are doing repositioning? What are the reasons for reposition? You can type, guys. Why and what are the? Is there any brand that you know which has done the major reposition? Maybe in the country, maybe in the world, right? The brands are doing. Why they reposition, and is there any example that you can see the brand which has done a reposition and being successful?
To approach different target audience?
To approach different target audience, yes. One of the reasons is yes, right? To approach different target audience. Your brand understand, okay, this target audience that I'm currently catering into doesn't give me enough revenue or enough excitement that I want, the business I want. Then okay, I should move into a different target audience. Yes, that's one of the reasons that brands are repositioning. Good. What are the other reasons? Let's see. The people have texted. Less profit. Yes. Less profit. Again, less profit can also be a reason for reposition. In that case, yes, most of the times this can be the biggest reason for reposition in less profit. Because end of the day, every organization wants to earn more profits. That's the end game, right? Business hamegama and salhan, and that's the end game. If you need more profit, you do lots of things to gain more profit. Low profit, you do lots of things to gain more profits. So in that case, yes, repositioning also, whatever the activity that you do, it is for to increase your profitability. That is also right. So your less profits can be, yeah, if you sometimes you change the target audience, target group from A to B, as we discussed now, our profitability can go up because the one group is maybe have less spending power, the other one has more spending power. The one group maybe have very low frequency of buying, then other group maybe have very high frequency of buying. So profitability goes up, right? So profitability is it's a right answer for anything in marketing because we work on profits, right? Then competition, yes, I think the competition, what is that? Compilation, right? What do you mean? Right, then let's look at the third one, market improvement, right? Yes, market improvement can also be because your market now your TG they are looking at new things now. Let's say you are catering to a youth market. Yes, you are very successful in catering to youth market. With like 10 years down the line, you understand, okay, I'm catering to the youth market, but youth is not looking for the same thing that they were looking for maybe 10 years back. So in that case, okay, if you want to be in the same segment, same market, we need to change certain things in, right? Right? We need to change certain things. So in that case, yes, one of the things that we can do is reposition, right? Yeah, Sunquick, competition. Yes, competition is right answer. Yes, Sunquick. Sunquick, yeah, they reposition, but the main reason behind the Sunquick reposition was not competition. But I'll come to Sunquick later. Competition is one of the main reason that you do repositioning, right? Because you understand the competition is different. Competition is tough. Competitors are doing different things. Sometimes we can't survive the exact way that we are currently operating. Because of that, to face the competition also, we do repositioning. That is also right. The Sunquick example is, yes, that's one of the examples. If you look at, they have done repositioning. So we'll discuss about the lesson and they'll come to discuss about Sunquick as well, right? Yes, competition. So all these answers are right. Okay, now going back to the lesson. Repositioning. So I'll take you through a few examples. Then we discussed what are the other brands that you know which has gone for repositioning and being very successful. Right? So a few of the examples, right? So anyway, one of the famous and most popular brands that we discussed, right? So we discussed EGB's positioning is the best drink with food, right? But if you look at maybe 10, 15 years back, EGB wasn't that. EGB wasn't talking about having EGB while they are drinking, while they are eating, right? EGB was all about it's a recovery drink, right? If you are not well, that's a drink that you used to drink, right? If you're having stomachache, yes, that's a drink that your mom gives you, right? So EGB was that. If you remember, maybe 10, 15 years back, I think most of the people remember, right? So that was EGB, right? But they understand, okay, that is not there. We should be pitching because now with improve, like Coca-Cola being the huge product in the market, right? And people are being very huge product, and people started eating from outside. 10, 15 years back, this trend continues now. We know that, like about 20, 15 years back, most of the times mother cooks at home. We eat 3 meals at home, right? But with the time, the pattern started changing. There were restaurants came, right? People started going out and eating from the restaurants, and the food chains like KFC, Magnus, they started coming into Sri Lanka. So when you go to these places, you hardly drink water. Now it's again things are changing. When you indulge in maybe a kottu or maybe a KFC fried chicken or something like that, you always tend to have a soft drink, right? So then Coca-Cola was the number 1 player in that category, right? So Elephant House, they understood, okay, this market is getting bigger and bigger while people are eating, they need to have a sweet drink, right? The water drinking habit was getting changed. So that's why they totally changed their positioning from drinking, like being a recovery drink, to the best drink with food, right? EGB Nathu Kamepa. So that's a campaign they came up with and changed the whole positioning, right? Sometimes back, if you remember, right? So then people started thinking, people started seeing EGB as a drink, which add more taste to the food that you eat, right? So that's the story of EGB. It's a total repositioning from one place to, right, one place in your mind to another place. And even Nestamol. So these brands are huge brands in Sri Lanka, guys. So if you look at over the years, these brands are repositioned brands. So you will understand how important is repositioning, right? The Nestamol used to be the number 1 brand in Nestle Sri Lanka for so many years, right? The biggest brand in Nestle. So Nestle being the largest food manufacturing organization in the world, in Sri Lanka business, Nestamol is the number 1 brand that they have, right? Now I think it's Milo, right? But Nestamol again number 2, like it's one of the biggest brands in Sri Lanka. So again, it's a repositioned brand. Again, 10, 15 years back, it wasn't your Dawasa Patangana Nestamol. It's not what you drink to get refreshment or get yourself energized in the morning. Not that, right? It is the nourishment of all people. අපි දැන් රාච්චිලට සීලාට සස්ට්‍රජන් දෙනවා වගේ, right? That was Nestor mold, right? If you going to see your grandparents, sometimes you take a, you know, not a pack. Those days they used to have tins, cans, right, of Nestor mold, right? Something that you use, sometimes you are using for දාන ගෙදර, right? කොහට යනවා නම් මල ගෙදරට යද්දිත් you take the Nestor mold and go, right? That was the Nestor mold sometimes back. So again, Nestor mold identify this is not the market that they operate in, because the frequency of purchase, which is very important for any brand, frequency of purchase is very low with that positioning. Why? How often you go to see your grandparents or anyone, maybe grandparents or maybe any elderly people, or how often you go? Do you go very often? No. Or Giyat, how often you buy something and give them? Not all the time, right? Not all the time, but your positioning is a nourishment for people who are the senior people, right? People maybe in the mid-age or elderly people, right? So which was curtailing the consumption of Nestor malt was a problem. The very low frequency of purchase from the people was an unsuccessful brand, right? Then they identified, they cracked nice insight. What is that? That is, like, being Sri Lankans, we like to start our day with a tea, right? Most of the Sri Lankans still, the first thing that they do in the morning is drinking a cup of tea, milk tea, right? That's one of the main things that Sri Lankans do. Like, you know this, right? So even your family is at home, you do this, right? Maybe your parents, maybe your members of the families, you see how many people are drinking cup of tea in the morning, kiritega, right? So they cracked that insight. They understood, okay, everyone is drinking milk tea in the morning in Sri Lanka. If we can replace that cup of milk tea with a cup of Nestor malt, what happens to the frequency of purchase, frequency of usage again, right? They knew that it will start skyrocketing, right? Because people every day that you are drinking, every day, high frequency drinking. So they wanted to replace that cup of milk with cup of Nestor malt, right? Then only they totally went for their repositioning and started this Balaya Jave Shaktiya, right? Nestor malt bivot Balaya Jave Shaktiya. Dawasa පටන් ගන්න Nestor malt. ඔයාට දවසට අවශ්‍ය සියලුම ශක්තිය මේකෙන් තියෙනවා. If you remember, I remember about 10 years back, Chaturika Piris came and danced and said, okay, this is how I start my day. And that's how I get my energy to do all these things that I do during the daytime. And you also can do it. Then now people start following. And Nestor malt became the biggest brand in Nestle Sri Lanka. And still people are continuing this habit. Now we know lots of people who are drinking Nestor malt in the morning and maybe several times of the day, right? And if you look at, right, how successful that was, you go to just a te kade or kottu petti kada, right? This small kade, and see and just look at what people are asking for in the morning or any time. They ask for Nestor malt tea. All these petti kada, they have these Nestor malt sachet packets. What they do is, right, when people ask for Nestor malt tea, they make a normal tea and add some sachet packet of Nestor malt to it and give it. So that's how they have activated the brand. It's not all about, like, creating the perception. Creating the perception is also very vital. That will be the first thing that you should do. Saying that this is not a all people's thing and this is a Balaya Jave Shaktiya. But that is not enough. So you need to activate in the ground, right? If you don't have the availability at the points that you have, that your consumption happens, then again you are failed. You can come up with a super brand marketing campaign and reposition. If you can't do it, we discuss these things in our business model lesson, right? The brand marketing is just one thing. If you can't activate it in the ground, you will fail, right? So you want to start the day with Nestor malt. You want people to start the day with Nestor malt, but most of the people, let's say the normal, let's say the middle class people in Colombo, right? Sometimes they don't drink this tea in the house itself. They go to the kade and drink, right? So when you go to කඩේ to drink, okay, මේ TV එකේ දකින්න රැට Nestamalt එකෙන් පටන් ගන්න කියලා, but if that කඩේ doesn't have Nestamalt, right, your whole campaign, brand marketing campaign fails, right? So the activation, the making that available in the right pack size, right? Not only that they not only make it available, they available in the right quantity, right size. If it was a big pack, yes, sometimes Mudalali might reluctant to, buy it, because he's anyway using milk powder, tea and everything, and now you need to keep a pack of Nestamol as well. It's kind of process. Then make it available in sachet packets. It is there. Okay, if you want it, we'll add it, and you have to buy it, and we'll add it. So very simple. That's how the Nestamol tea goes. Still, that's how they do it, right? So very successful. So one of the best examples for repositioning in Sri Lanka, Nestamol. Okay. Then we will look at another brand. So these are all big brands, right? This is now this brand, the Sri Lanka's #1 soap today, Lifebuoy, right? Again reposition. So, and these days this brand is very active because of the current situation, right? Because their platform is anyway the best germ protection that you get. So that is their positioning. That is Lifebuoy's positioning is the best protection against the germs. That is their positioning. But if you look at, again, some years back, this is kind of older than the other examples that I saw. Even I don't remember this. This is something that I heard from people, right? The Lifebuoy used to be a brand which is people use for laundry, and people used to wash their dogs, right? But they had not positioning it Lifebuoy as that. Lifebuoy was a position as a brand for sportmen. Right, it's a brand for sportmen. Like if you are a sportman, yes, you need to have a proper shower in the evening, and this is the brand. That was Lifebuoy, but people didn't believe that. That's why people, and that was a low, and again one of the lowest price soap among the other brands available that time, the Rexona, Lux, and all the beauty soaps. This was the lowest price. So what people did was, okay, make a Sumandat nෑ වැඩිය, වැඩකුත් නෑ. There are no sportsmen in the country as well, like there were. But doing a sport wasn't a big thing. Now, if you look at now, how many number of gyms available in the country, if you look at 15, 20 years back, how many gyms we had, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure not even 10% of the numbers that we have right now. It wasn't that. Now the fitness have become a huge thing in the country, not in the country, in the globally it has come to Sri Lanka. Now everyone is in the gym, right? You post your photos from the gym and showing your biceps and showing your body parts, right? So now it has become a trend. Now everyone is doing that. But that's the trend now. If you don't hit a gym, මොකද්ද සමාජයෙන් කොන්වේද දන්නේ සීන් එකේ දැන් ඉන්නේ, right? Because now it has become a trend. But 10-15 years back, very few people did that, right? It wasn't that, right? So saying you are a sportman wasn't a big thing. Now everyone wants to be athlete. Now everyone likes to say, okay, I'm an athlete, right? So everyone wants to talk about their self, right? So it was like 10-15 years back, it wasn't like that. And during that time, you have a dedicated soap for athletes. Who cares, right? That was Lifebuoy. So that's why they didn't use it for like bathe or anything after your workouts. They use it for laundries and to wash the dog in the house, right? So that's what they used, and they understood this doesn't work for us. This is not what people are looking from a soap, right? Then they understood, okay, we should take another platform which is converting their brand to a very sportsman's soap to a brand which is for best germ protection, right? With the development of the world, yes, now we can see the germs and everything, the rise in population, right? There are so many germs now, even what we are going through right now, the coronavirus, it's a new thing to the world. with that, there are so many bad things happening in the world. So it's one of the things that Lifebuoy can act is owning that platform, because that was Dettol's platform, right? That was Dettol's. Dettol's was very high in this platform, right? Dettol was a germ killer, right? Not Lifebuoy, right? Dettol is something that you put when the liquid when you have a wound or something, you put Dettol because it kills germs, and then they made it a soap. Again, the best germ fighter. That is Dettol's area, that Dettol's positioning. But what Lifebuoy did was they make it more generalized thing, right? If you remember the advertisement with Sangha, right, with kids, right? So Dettol again was like saying people that okay, we are a germ killer, and with the Dettol's association with like liquid putting into your wounds, it's more of a non-generalized thing. It is something not that you use day to day, right? Not something that you use every day, right? This is a yes, this is a very kind of a medical, clinical thing. That's the idea people had about Dettol. Dettol was the best germ fighter, but just because of their different execution, different extensions of the brand, like plasters, liquid Dettol, right? The people think it's more of a clinical thing, more of a medical thing, not for day-to-day use, right? Then even though they came up with Dettol soap, again, yes, Dettol is not, it's good, but it's not everyday thing. It's a special thing. But what Lifebuoy understood that, right, they came up with a more generalized thing, came with Sangha, and when people, this is nothing much. When you eat or do anything, wash your hands with Dettol. Sorry, Lifebuoy. Your washing hands with soap is everyday thing. Right? It's a generalized thing. It is not a medical thing. It's not a clinical thing. You are washing your hands every day, several times with soap. So in that case, they captured it. Okay, if you want to have the best germ killer, yes, then it's Lifebuoy, right? It's a very general approach. Then people did not feel it's a very occasional moment. They started thinking, okay, this is a very generalized, high frequency, right? More close to the people, brand, the more close to the hearts. It's a very household, right? Compared to Dettol. And they captured the market. And today, the Lifebuoy is the fastest selling soap in Sri Lanka, even before coronavirus. Now, anyway, it should be skyrocketing because of this situation. But even before Corona comes, the Lifebuoy was the number one soap brand, the best selling soap brand in Sri Lanka, right? Followed by Lux and Velvet and other brands, right? So that's how the reposition happened, right? If you look at even before Sri Lanka, Lifebuoy was the biggest brand in Bangladesh, right? Lifebuoy is huge in Bangladesh. If you follow cricket, you can see Bangladesh cricket team also sponsored by Lifebuoy. That big. Why? Because one of the reasons the population is Bangladesh is a country with highest population density in the world, right? So very small place, too much of people, the highest population density. Literally, the country is not, the cleanliness of the country is very low. They just live in garbage, right? No offense, right? That's Bangladesh. So brand like this, it's a everyday thing. Like you eat food, like you drink water, right? Washing with Lifebuoy or any germ killing soap is everyday thing. High level of high frequency of usage. So that's why Lifebuoy became so big in Bangladesh and today in Sri Lanka as well, right? And in coming times, right, with this pandemic situation, with the brands like this start shining, right? So anyway, though the brands like this wasn't big, the smaller brands will also have more opportunity, right? The people who used to use brands like Lux and Rexo, Velvet, Rani Sandun Sabang, on all these brands, now you can see the conversion happening from these brands to a more germ killing brands like Lifebuoy and Dettol, right? So now people's priorities are changing. What you're expecting from a bathing soap is maybe the fragrance that you get. Maybe some people believe in it can make you beautiful. It can make you more fair, right? The brands like Lux said and claim, okay, you can be you can look like a Bollywood actress if you use the Lux. Yes, those are the priorities for most of the people. Now the priority is being changed. Now the priority is, okay, I need to have a very good bath when after I get home from work or anywhere. I need to sanitize myself. I need to have a very hygienic living. So now the time for that, the brands like these will start shining with those, right? That's again a successful repositioning, right? So now let's discuss what are the other brands that you know which has gone for reposition, being very successful. Sometimes the reposition, these are the very successful examples. Sometimes your reposition fails as well. It doesn't give the expected results, right? So what are the other brands that maybe globally or maybe in Sri Lanka that which has repositioned themselves, right? So I'm giving another example, guys. Not for repositioning. If you look at brand like Sunlight, right? So one of the oldest brands in the country, right? And Sunlight has been the brand for so many generations. It's more of the targeting most of the times women, right? Because in the past also women were known to be more involved with laundry, washing clothes, right? Not stereotyping, but that's the perception, right? So in that case, that's has been the one of the biggest brands in the country. Now even today, if you run a kade, small kade, if you don't have Sunlight in that kade, you can't run that kade. Very simple. So the brand is that strong, but have never repositioned. It has catered to so many different generations. That's something that you need to understand, right? Their target group, yes, women, let's say women, but different generations of women. Your grandma has used Sunlight, your mom has used Sunlight, and you are now using Sunlight, and maybe your kids will also use Sunlight, right? But has never repositioned, but very successful. They have done all the changes, time to time, generation to generation. They have done the changes. When the things are declining, come up with a new fragrance. Maybe you know how we have this yellow color Sunlight, then green color Sunlight, white color Sunlight, pink color Sunlight with rose, and then we had this Nilmanel Sunlight. Then the trend is being changing into a soft to a washing powder. They came with Sunlight washing powder. Then trend is being to run the liquid washing powder, then liquid washing liquids. Then they have changed it to a washing liquids, but never change their positioning. It's all about your fragrance that you get, the freshness of the clothes when you wash it from Sunlight. Never change it. So likewise, don't think that just because of the time you need to change it. No, not that. We do it for different reasons. So now discuss about what are the examples that you know, different repositioning, right? Cream soda for funeral usage, youth, yes. Yes, cream soda also reposition brand. Funeral usage, it's like this. Funeral, yeah, we had never positioned cream soda as funeral usage, but yes, people use it for funeral usage. That's right, right? මල ගෙදර දාන ගෙදර ගියාම දෙන්නේ cream soda තමයි glass එකේ දාලා. You are right, right? But we had not positioned it as a funeral drink. ඒතකොටනේ අර දැන් මොකද්ද? එහෙම කරන්නේ අර funeral boys වගේ වෙනවා අලුත් these pall bearers. Yeah, everyone is aware of it, right? Funeral dances again, advertisements, same right? So we never positioned there, but people used it, and again it came went for a reposition, saying Yavane Popiyana Jamatkare, right? Which is that's a fun that you had among youth. Right? If you remember, very first advertisement of cream soda after the repositioning, I don't know how many people remember this advertisement, right? Let me check whether it's available on YouTube. I want you to see this advertisement. Okay, it is there. So let's have a look at that advertisement, which is the change the total positioning of cream soda. I think it's this. Not really. This is sometimes later. I think there was a. Yeah, this one. Right. So that's the first cream soda advertisement after its repositioning, right? So how exciting that was, right? So how this brand took that mileage, right? This I think this advertisement is about 15 years back, right? 15 years back. For the first time, the Sri Lankans, the mass audience seeing the girls who's having short skirts in the school, right? With different color, right? So how we use it is a white color thing that girls are wearing. We know that some international schools having different dresses, but the 15 years back, the international schools wasn't that popular, especially when it's come to out of Colombo. People did not know what was that. And when youth were looking at on the TV saying that, okay, there's some girls, good looking girls with short skirts, but not school color, and have a cream soda and start dancing, right? Right, and it's different type of music which Sri Lankan wasn't used to, and that's where the whole Sri Lanka got excited about it. This advertisement, I remember that I watched this advertisement for the first time when I was very young. Right? It's a total different thing, right? That most of the people have never experienced. That's how you grab the attention of the people. Then people started looking at this. Okay, this is not a Malagadar drink anymore. This is something really different. Right? This is fun. This is cool, right? which is really cool. Right? So that's why that's how they took that hook from the people to change the brand into a different level. Very successful reposition again. Yes, maybe from Malagedara drink to a Yavane Popiana Chamatkar. Right, so that's one of the reposition. And the Sunquick, let's it's a very recent thing. Sunquick one. What Sunquick did? Sunquick was what and Sunquick is what now? If you remember, Sunquick, it was the drink which is that you drink, that you prepare at home and you drink it. Orange drink, that was Sunquick. Right? ඇත්තටම Sunquick මෙහෙම කියලා තිබ්බට කවුරුත් මොකද්ද? Sunquick එකක් ගෙදර තියාන හදාගෙන බොනවද? මන් දන්නේ no one does it. Sunquick එක බොන්නේ මොනවද? දන්සල් වලයි, මල ගෙදරයි. That is where the consumption happens. Right? Sometimes, guys, this is what you need to understand. This is nothing wrong with that. Your positioning is something, but your consumption happen in a different place. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, Sunquick positioning is, yes, that's a, I'm not very sure about what the positioning is. That's a orange drink, right? Very close, natural orange drink that you make it at home and you indulge yourself. So that was Sunquick, right? But Sunquick consumption doesn't happen that way. You hardly know a person who keeps a bottle of Sunquick in your fridge too, just to consume by yourself. No, you might keep it if someone comes home to serve, or maybe otherwise malagiyak bonawa nattang. The most of the places, the biggest place that we get we drink Sunquick is from Dansala. Right? Those are the consumption occasions, right? So Sunquick understood that, and they positioned itself in different place. If you remember this campaign called Thagidana Satsari, right? So they are totally changed it from okay, this is how you, Sunquick is something that you should gift. So when you are gifting something, when you are going to see maybe a relative or a friend or a loved one, this is a gift that you can take them, bottle of Sunquick. And that was successful for some time. But again, now I can see, I know the reasons for that as well. They are moving away from that Thagidana Sastre and now again coming back to same platform where you consume it with your family and all. Right? I understand why, because they went for a repositioning because it wasn't appealing for them, for most of the people. They didn't want to have Sunquick at home more, but they understood there's a nice track, that the nice point that they can track, which is taking it as a gift, and that was successful. Again, now they are changing it again. We understand again low frequency. If you are a gift item, how less frequent you are being purchased, very less frequent, right? Very less frequent. Now again they were moving into different places where they are consuming with family and having fun with family. That's the new positioning of Sunquick, and adding it to some other drinks and mixing it with different flavors of it, right? They are moving out from the Thagidana Sastre, the gift giving thing, which is repositioning again. So likewise, you can, when you're repositioning, you need to look at those as well. Sometimes it can be very attractive. Repositioning that can be very attractive, but it doesn't give enough volume. Right? So that's why I say the positioning can be done in some place, but your consumption happen, the usage happen in a different place. Like Sunquick, and like even if you know this brand, if you look at Prima Kottumi, the positioning is all about, it's all about very close to cream soda. It's all about youth, having fun, right? Something like that. But you can see they are having on the Kottumi advertisement also, they are having Kottumi and dancing and etc. So, but real consumption happen in different places. The real consumption, big chunks are happening where the people who are not staying at home, boarders, university students, they need a quick fix meal, right? Busy moms who need something to put in their kids' lunchbox, right? And sometimes the fishermen, one of the biggest market for noodles, fishermen who goes on trawlers, who are on the sea for like maybe 1 month, who go for deep sea fishing, right? So they buy in big quantity. So that's where the consumption happen, but your pursuing is something somewhere else. But it doesn't. It's nothing wrong with that, right? So even the big consumption, which means something, if you change the positioning, being the very youthful, fun, and outgoing, if you change it, sometimes the biggest consumption will not happen, right? People will not buy. If you really want to be very realistic, and if you're going to show the real consumption of it, no one will buy it. Right? If you are going there and prima potmi okay අපි මේ මුහුදේ යද්දි තමයි කන්නේ ආය ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් එකක පෙන්නනවා කැම්පස් එකේ බෝඩි මේටි තමයි කන්නේ ඒවා පෙන්නනවා, right? If you show that, people will not buy it. But as long as you are being a very fancy brand, very fun loving brand, yes, you get the attraction. It's very aspirational for people. Red Bull, same thing, right? So one study that Red Bull has done, they found that Red Bull consumption is happening high level in universities. Why? The university students, they want energy. No, because they are studying overnight. They want to drink something and keep them awake. Red Bull keep you awake because of the high caffeine content in it. But they consume it in very high quantity. Again, different positioning, but consumption happening in a different way, right? So likewise, that is about repositioning, right? So we are moving forward from the repositioning. Before moving into the next session, is there any questions about repositioning? Any questions? Right. Okay. I'm moving forward to brand DNA. Brand DNA is something which drives the brand, right? When you come to the communication has to be very guided, right? You can't communicate things everywhere, right? Brand DNA is very important when it's come to the brand communication, right? The communication as well, it always has to be guided. So let's say you are a fun brand, you are a youthful brand. Youthful fun can be so many things. You understand? Let's say the example that I'm going to take is again Prima Kottumi, right? It's a youth brand, fun brand, very outgoing brand. So it's all about showing the fun of youth, right? Showing the fun of the youth, right? So here now when it's come to communication, right? Fun of the youth can be so many things. It is a very versatile thing. Sometimes singing for youth, singing can be fun. Sometimes for youth, going on a trip can be fun. Sometimes for youth, having a nice dress, wearing a nice dress can be fun. Sometimes for youth, doing a risk kind of an adventurous thing can be fun. Sometimes for youth, having a bottle of arak with a set of friends can be fun. Sometimes for youth, yes, taking some drugs can also be fun, right? The fun is very versatile, huge, right? But as a brand, you can't be everywhere. You can't have like the mixed messages going to your target audience. You can't be everywhere. In that case, you need to find you need to define what are the different routes that I work on, right? Your brands can't be everything to everyone. Your brand can't be for everyone. That's why your brand is for youth. I'm referring to this particular example now. But you can't be everything to youth. Then youth will not believe in you. And you can't be everything to them. So in essay, your communication has to be very guided, very streamlined to show certain things only. That is what we are for, right? If you look at this brand, it's fun. It's all about fashion, music, and risk. Nothing beyond it. If you look at this particular brand and what the communication activities that they carry out, Prima Hottumi, you can see all well-dressed people, well-dressed in the fancy dressed, right? Very colorful dress, shorts, very casually dressed, but modern, fancy, right? Nice jeans, sometimes bare body, new style. If you look at their haircuts are different, they are maybe having some tattoos in the body, right? That's the fashion, the trendiest fashions. Then the music, they're always with music. If you follow this brand, you can see this brand always with music. There are no advertisement with conversation. It's a music advertisements. And that music is getting changed day by day. If you Prima Kottumi, this brand, there's a new commercial, new advertisement every year. If you look at every year, the new commercial come with new type of music. Not the same time. Some baila to from EDM, electronic dance music to maybe reggae, maybe something, right? Different types of music, which is the trendy at that point. That is keep on updating, but we are into music. Then the risk, what the risk that people are taking, not very adventurous, but the risk, the adventurous thing that certain people, like even an average person can take, not adventurous like Red Bull. Red Bull are the extreme adventures. But Kottumi, we do some adventures which is can be done by, like, even a normal person, normal youth, normal girl and a boy can do. Right? Right? So maybe having a bath in the sea can be adventurous. Everyone can do it. Not the Red Bull adventure. Right? Maybe like, going on a trip in a yacht can be adventurous thing, but everyone can do it. Right? So likewise. So that's the guided communication, the DNA of Kottumi, and which is to guide their communication, right? Guide their communication. Their fun is not everywhere. The fun is very versatile, right? That is not everywhere, right? But this is very guided. We work on these routes only. You can see if you go to YouTube and watch all the advertisements and the other communication materials, if available those, you will see only these four, right? Nothing beyond it, which is well guided. Otherwise, you can't secure your positioning if you're trying to be everything. Your positioning is all about hot and spicy lifestyle. These are the main ingredients of that hot and spicy lifestyle, right? So they are not deviating from that, which is called brand DNA. So like human, we have DNAs, the brand also having DNAs. Then I'm coming to a kind of an important theory, which is again comes into play when you are developing a new brand, and even for a developed brand, you can adapt this brand key model and streamline your brand, right? The brand key is a brand, guys. This brand key model, okay, brand key, it's a brand key is also a brand. Okay, it is done by a organization called Brand Key, and this is a model used by most of the brands in Unilever. We know that Unilever has hundreds of brands, so most of those brands are big brands, power brands. Those brands are designed through Brand Key, or the design brands, they are adopting this principle right now to streamline their brand progress. So which is called brand key model. The brand key is also brand. So here we discuss about 9 different things of a brand. Brand key, We discussed 9 different things of a brand, and again all these 9 things are streamlined and guided to give the brand the direction that it wants to go for, right? That is what about the brand key model is all about, right? You can see even this picture, the brand key is a keyhole that you can see. It's a key that is all about the brand key. The 9 thing, it's a keyhole. It's about a key, the key to success of a brand. So we'll discuss one by one. The first one is the root strength, the core strength, the product attributes and the benefits. So if you, I have already taken you through about the Capferrer's brand prism, which is very much similar to this, right? That discuss about 6 different things. Here we discuss about 9 different things, right? So likewise, there are so many models available. So we'll learn these models time to time. So again, this is another model which is very commercially used. The Capferrer's prism also very commercially used one, and here it's also very brand key model is also very commercially used one, right? The first one is the root strength, which is the core strength of the brand. This is very much like the attributes of the brand. In Capferrer's prism we discuss about something called brand physique. A physique එකේ තියෙනවා තමයි මෙතන අපි discuss කරන්නේ. What are the tangible or intangible core benefits of the brands? The root strength of the brand. What is this brand is for? Then the competitive environment. The market brand competes in perceived value offered by the customers. So what is the competitive environment that brand works on? Who are the competitors? What are they doing? Right? So that's some kind of analysis which is going into brand key model. Right? What sort of a competitive environment, very price conscious, are we working on a price conscious market where competitors are also giving a very attractive prices? Are we working on a very quality conscious market where our competitors are focusing on the quality of the products, right? Are we working on a market where people are looking at maybe a very versatile benefits? To buy one brand and they're expecting several benefits from one brand. So are we, what's the market that we are operating in, and what are the competitors are offering to that market? Then the target. TG, the consumer attitudes, value and the problems, right? The target means the consumer attitude and consumer attitude, value and the problem. What is your target group, right? What is the target group from that competitive framework? What is the exact target group that you are targeting? So now just imagine a situation that you are defining these things for your brand. You are an owner of a brand. You are defining, you are noting down things for your brand. So in that case, by end of the 9 process, you will have a very thorough understanding of your brand and the very thorough guideline for guideline on your brand to take it forward. Then the insight, which is a very important thing, right? Insight, the information about target market, research finding. So what are the information about the target market? The research findings of the brands. I told you what is insight, right? It's a very insight is now it's a very important insight is a deep human emotion which is most of the times hidden, right? I think we have discussed about it. The insights, so most of the brands are working on insights. The insight is one of the key things for any brand, which is a very deep human emotions. Sometimes, most of the times, it is hidden. It doesn't come out, right? Now, if you look at the brand like Surf Excel, right? The insight is the people say, when I say Surf Excel, what is the positioning? You are well aware of what is Surf Excel's positioning is. It's all about the best stain remover. That's it, right? Positioning is all about the best stain remover. This is the best washing powder that you can get rid of your pallam, right? That's Surf Excel. That's your positioning. But what is the insight? The brand insight is much broader than its positioning. Insight is where this brand coming from, where this positioning is deriving in from, right? If you closely look at this Surf Excel brand, it always shows you kids and the mom. Kids go out and play and he comes with dirty clothes and mom has to clean it. That's a normal phenomenon, right? The insight of this is, now have you ever seen in Surf Excel communication, mom stops kids for playing? Mom does not stop kids from playing. Why? Because now the problem, we know that when we were young, our problem was, we go out for playing and mom come and stop us because we are always outside and playing. Now it's the things are different. Now mom is trying to send the kid for playing. The kids don't like to go and play because they want to stay in and do video games and stay on YouTube, and those are techie kids now. Now it's different, right? Now mom is pushing kids to go and play with the other kids. So here the inside of it is the kids should play. That is where the creativity comes, right? The Surf Excel, the inside that will work on is the kids should play. The kids should go out and play, right? Don't ever think about their dirty clothes and everything. They are there to play. They should play, go outside and play. So that is where the inner built up of the kid comes, right? If I don't know, I have discussed you, don't remember these things. There's a nice, you can go to YouTube and check how they derived in this insight to a positioning of, stain remover. So where most of the kids, this advertisement is all about, this is not in Sri Lanka, I think it's India, right? There's a smart kid who always play on the video games, right? Always on the tab, right? That's a smart kid. The other kids are playing, right? Now the smart kid, the problem, he's good, he's well aware of your tabs and all the gadgets, right? His mom pushed him to go and play with the other kids because which is necessary. So he goes out one day to play with other kids, right? They are doing this hide and seek game, right? And this guy is nominated for the guy who's gonna seek, right? And you need to, like normally how we do is, you need to count from 1 to 10. After 10 you go seeking around other kids. These kids start counting. Now this is in the evening time. Others were like hiding. He started from 1, 2, 3, 4 likewise. Then again you can see advertisement goes. Then it's a kind of a dark environment. It's dark, that kids is counting 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Why? He's a smart kid, he's well aware of that, but he's not smart enough to understand the game because he's totally disconnected from the rest of the kids, because he doesn't go out to play. So he looks stupid in front of others because he doesn't know. So that's why the Surf Excel is trying to, okay, you should go out, you should let your kids go out and play. Don't worry, never worry about the clothes. That's why the Surf Excel is here. The total insight is the kids should play outside, right? So that's the insight. So likewise, what is the insight of your brand when it comes to brand key model? What is the deep human emotion that you are going to crack, right? Like Anchor has nicely cracked the deep human emotion, which is the mom's love for kid. That's why I say the best the mom can give to kids is Anchor. So they have cracked that deep human emotion. They know that mom's love is never changing. It's something different. It's a very deep human emotion, and they have nicely cracked it, right? So what is the insight of your brand? Then the benefits. What are the functional and emotional benefits your brand gives you? Your brands, yes, obviously should give functional benefits. අපි කතා කරලා තියෙනවා මේවා ගැන. Functional benefit එක කියන්නේ මොනවද කියලාද? ඇඟට දැනෙන benefits, right? What are the functional benefit, right? Like when I drink a bottle of Sprite, it quench my thirst, which is a functional benefit, right? Which is a functional benefit. When I buy Bajaj tuk-tuk and travel from some place to another, it gives me a functional benefit, the transportation, right? Then what are the emotional benefits your brand gives? The same trip I'm going in a BMW, it gives me emotional benefit as well. The same transportation from A to B, Bajaj tuk-tuk also gives that, BMW also gives that same functional benefit, but the emotional benefit is different. When I go on my BMW, I feel so content, I feel so proud, I feel so happy. But when I go in the Bajaj tuk-tuk, it's not the same, right? So that is the benefits that you need to identify which your brands offers. Then the values, beliefs, and personality. What are the values of your brand? What are the beliefs, if there are any beliefs, right? If there are something, and the personality. What is the personality of your brand? If your brand was a person, what kind of a characteristic that person would have? Those characteristics are the characteristics that brands also have, right? Just imagine a situation that you convert your brand into a person. Now imagine about that person, what kind of a character is. If your brand is Nations Trust Bank, you convert it into a person, right? Then what sort of a person? Okay, it's a person like Kumar Sangakkara. That's why he is the brand ambassador. Nations Trust Bank, Kumar Sangakkara. What are the characteristics of Kumar Sangakkara? Sangha is a what? Very trustworthy person, right? When it's come to cricket also, when Sangha in the crease, we know that he will do something, he will score some marks, some runs. We can rely on that person, trustworthy. So is Nations Trust Bank, right? And a very skillful person. He has some skills, right? Which is the banks wants them to be seen as. And Nations Trust Bank, Kumar Sangakkara, it's a well-known gentleman, right? Good human qualities. Again, the bank is the same. He wants the banks to be, they want banks to be seen as the same. Then the modern person, Kumar is a very modern person, modern cricketer, high-tech guy. So is the brand, very modern brand, very high-tech brand when it's come to banks, Nations Trust Bank. So that's the personality of that brand. So you have to define your personality. Then the reason to believe. Number 7, the proof of brand experience and the benefits. Why I should believe this brand? What are the proofs, right? What are the experience? What are the proofs available, right? And the benefits, right? The reason to believe. Why should why my customers should believe this brand, right? So if my brand is Surf Excel, what is the reason to believe, right? I always claim that we are the best stain remover. My brand is actually doing that. Or it's just an statement, right? So you are saying that my brand is the best stain remover of the clothes, but when you get a cloth with stains, when you put Surf Excel, it actually does the job, right? Otherwise, people will not believe it. Then the discriminator, most compelling reason to eliminate competitors. What is the most compelling reason to eliminate competitors, right? So discriminator is a very important thing. What is the most compelling reason to eliminate your competitors? My car is Volvo. What is my discriminator? The world's safest car. No one can that. Your positioning is your discriminator there. The Volvo known as a world's safest car, right? So yes, other car brands will come and compete with Volvo in certain different ways. Yes, they can. But when it's come to the safety, I'm the number one, right? I eliminate all the other competitors. BMW, yes, the car brands, Mercedes-Benz, others, they're always competing with me. So many other things. But when it's come to the driving pleasure, the performance of the car, nobody can match me. So number one, the discriminate the others, right? Lifebuoy, again, bathing soap. Yes, there are so many benefits of soap, but when it's come to germ fighting, that's a discriminator. Others can't match. Yes, Dettol is there, but Dettol is compared to Lifebuoy is very small, right? The Lifebuoy is not only competing with Dettol, they are competing with other brands as well, because this is bathing normally that you use for bathing, right? They compete with their own brands like Lux. They compete with their competitor brands like Velvet, Venivel Saban, Rani Sandun Saban. All these are competitors, right? So, but the discriminator that Lifebuoy has is a best germ killer. Right? That is what? That's a discriminator. Then the essence, the guiding principle, the heart of the brand. So essence is, what is the cream of this brand, right? While we discuss about 8 different things, then end of the day, what brand is there? What is the essence, the combination of everything? What is this brand is for? What are the values this brand gives to both customers and your own employees? The essence of the brand, the reason why this brand is here, that is called the brand essence, the combination of everything, the cream of the brand, right? So that is what the brand key model discuss, right? There are 9 different things that we discuss. The starting from the root strength, competitive environment, then the target, which is we discuss about the target group, and the insight, benefits, values, beliefs, and the personality, reason to believe, the discriminator, the compelling reason, and the brand essence. So that is what the brand key model is about. So if you are developing a brand using brand key model, if you are adapting brand key model to existing brand, these are the certain things that you need to be very clear with, and these are the things that you need to keep on monitoring whether they are sticking to the model, the things that model suggested, and in the way forward, which is called brand key model. Any questions about this, guys? Any questions about brand key model? No. Right. Right. Okay. So then I think we discussed enough for the day. So we discussed about perceptual maps, positioning maps, right, and the different uses of it. And we discussed about brand key model. And yeah, we discussed about important thing. One of the most important, the repositioning, and how the brands have repositioned themselves, and what are the different executions of it. With that, I think it's enough for the memory for today. Otherwise, it will be too much of contents, right? I think everyone understood what we discussed. If there are any question even after the class, yes, you can always raise. So with that, we are stopping for the day, guys. So as always, I tell you, stay safe, right? Try to adhere to all the rules which is being given to you, because thing is not over yet, though the curfew is lifted. So stay safe, and I will speak to you again next week. Thank you very much.